lot of how leaves are spaced on the plant, how petals are arranged, and so I wanted to make a sequence based off of this this mathematical concept that governs so much of what we see around us. Okay, so the next one, the 10-minute one, is a 3-part one. It's 3 songs as one piece. And first of all, I tried, in doing a longer piece for the first time, I wanted to have some sort of internal, or I had to think more about the internal cohesion, because that's how you have a longer thing, it's what you have to do. And so I chose 2 songs. Initially I chose 3 songs which had sort of a very strong crescendo, and I thought it didn't really make sense in terms of the dynamics of the whole piece. So I chose a middle song, which was very more subdued, which sort of gives you the build, nothing, and then build. And so one of the reasons why, so if you compare the first one to this one, the first one I had 300 flowers. For this one, I had 3,000. And so there were a lot more options, a lot more choices and way more to choose from. And so that allowed me to choose plants based on the families that they're in, choose based on their genuses, to be a lot more intentional about how I did this. And one thing that, so I made this, like I said at the beginning, I started this last August, and the beginning and the first and the last song, I sort of did before, in the summer and the fall. And for the middle one, I was thinking a lot about how could I find plants that would abstractly match the emotionality of this more subdued middle song. And this coincided with how, in the fall, I started going outside of flowering plants. So there are about 7 main divisions of plants. Flowering plants is the one that we're probably most familiar with. And initially I thought that I should mostly focus on that one because it seems the most interesting. There are so many beautiful colors, and what would a pine bough do, or what would moss do? I thought nothing very interesting. Or what would leaves do? I didn't really think much of them until I started scanning them in the fall. And this was a huge change. It really brought to my attention how much there is in these more ancient divisions of the plant kingdom. And so with mosses, you have these very subtle but very intricate color changes from, say, green to white, or with conifer boughs, even though the motion is the beauty of time lapses that you can, of course, condense time. And a conifer bough, say like a pine bough, it will maybe take 4 weeks to desiccate because the wood holds the moisture in more than, say, mint stalk. And but within these 4 weeks, you get very dramatic motion and really dramatic color changes. At least to me. We'll see if you think so too. And it's also things like seeds dropping. And so the animation that they provide is more subtle, but also really neat. And so let's start